Welcome back. You're watching Big Deal, and we are discussing the big merger between Bandhan Bank and Gruh Finance. Now, I spoke to Keki Mistry on the various aspects of the transaction, not just that. What does the investment in Gruh Finance, that is by way of stake in Bandhan Bank and Gruh Finance merged entity, mean for HDFC Limited? And on the other hand, what is the strategy going forward for HDFC Limited in terms of organically improving and developing the low-cost housing finance business, which, remember, is already at 38% of its books by way of volumes and 18% by way of value.
We looked at various options. One option, of course, was merging with HDFC, and another option was look at some kind of growth for Gruh outside of HDFC. And after evaluating various options, we found that a merger with Bandhan probably makes more sense for a shareholder or a stakeholder in Gruh than anything else. Coming first to why it makes sense from a Gruh shareholder's perspective, this will create a very large lending platform for rural and semi-urban parts of the country, a very large lending platform. Today, Bandhan does not do housing loans and Gruh does not do microfinance lending. So by creating a combination between the two, you will create, one, you will improve from a Gruh shareholder's perspective, you will reduce the cost of funding, because as a bank, Gruh will now have access to lower cost funding, which is typically what a bank would have compared to someone like a Gruh. Secondly, it will benefit from a very large distribution platform of Bandhan, which has so many branches all over. And because it has so many branches, it can sell its products through so many locations. Bandhan will benefit from the fact that Gruh has, over the years, created such a strong platform for housing loans. Very strong operating systems, legal systems, technical systems, basically strong systems in housing loans. So Bandhan benefits from that, and Bandhan also benefits from Gruh's very large penetration in Western India. Now, coming to HDFC, HDFC has itself a very large presence in Western India. We have a very strong lending platform ourselves. Right. We have very strong operating systems, lending systems, credit systems, legal systems, technical systems. So a merger with Gruh will not have added any synergy in that sense, because we already had those systems. Secondly, HDFC's balance sheet is very large. We have a 3,70,000 crore balance sheet as of September. Gruh has a much smaller balance sheet, 18 or less than 20,000 crores. So it would not have made any significant impact to Gruh, to HDFC's overall size. What we disburse in a month, and compared to what Gruh disburses, Gruh would be disbursing 5%, roughly about 5% of what we do. So in that sense, it would not have made a material difference for HDFC. And from Gruh's standpoint, there was no synergy that they would get from the merger, and therefore the merger with Bandhan made a lot of sense.
So for HDFC Limited, what is the strategy with that 15% stake that you will get in the combined entity of Bandhan Bank after merging Gruh Finance?
See, I can't comment on that, because it all depends on what regulatory approvals we get. We will talk to the regulators and only then be in a position to know how much the regulators have approved. So I can't comment on that.
Okay, in case the regulators do approve of 15, will you be opportunistic in that financial investment and redeploy that fund at the right time for your own low-cost housing finance business?
See, you have to understand that money is different from capital. When the merger with Gruh's merger with Bandhan happens, from an accounting standpoint, from an Ind AS standpoint, my understanding is that the investment will get revalued based on the Bandhan share price, and therefore the capital will go up straight away. If the capital goes up straight away, irrespective of whether you raise the funds or you get liquidity or not, the fact that capital goes up and therefore capital adequacy goes up means your ability to lend money will increase significantly, because you can gear off that large capital base and provide loans.
All right, so you're not saying that
this is the amount that you want to exit immediately?
No, we are not saying anything like that.
All right. So your plans at HDFC Limited in this segment?
It's all is dependent on regulatory approval. We'll have to wait and see what regulatory approval we get and then take
Mr. Mistry, a lot of people in the market are also reading this step as a step closer to an eventual merger of HDFC Bank and HDFC.
That's not correct at all. It's not. We have had no discussions with HDFC Bank on a merger in recent times, so it's futile discussion. It's completely futile.
All right, so that's the word coming in from KK Mistry. So you heard all the three sides. You heard HDFC Limited talk about the transaction as well as Bandhan Bank. Now, the big questions and the big takeaways. First, how will Bandhan Bank reduce another 20% stake of promoter shareholding to meet the RBI requirement post this transaction? Because another acquisition at such a short notice is extremely difficult in terms of the management time and energy. So we'll have to see that bit. Whether or not the Reserve Bank of India gives approval to HDFC Limited to hold about 15% stake going forward in the merged entity of Bandhan Bank, which will acquire Gruh Finance. So that will be very, very important. And on the other hand, also remember the big takeaway for the deal street coming in from Deepak Parekh is that this is just the beginning of the consolidation phase in the financial services sector. All right, on that note, I leave it on a big deal. It's a wrap on the show. Thank you so much for joining us and keep it with CNBC TV18.